Hours before the supposed launch of Shenzhou 7, China published conversations between the astronaut and crew as if it had already happened, and included detailed descriptions of the event. This slip-up revealed from the very start that this spacewalk was a carefully orchestrated fake. This isn't the first time China has faked a space voyage. When China claimed that Chang'e 1 reached the moon, they produced photos that were discovered to have been copied from Google Moon, photoshopped to change the shadows and add craters, and sharpened. The different camera shots of Chang'e 7 launch show some discrepancies. The close-up shot, which distinguishes this vessel as Shenzhou 7, have two markings that later disappeared. Now look at this government report with an image from farther away. Look for those two markings. The top one has all but disappeared, and the bottom one completely changed. Here's a side-by-side comparison. In the video, we see the shots change from a model to an actual launch. The launch we see is actually of Shenzhou 1. The markings are consistent. Look at this side-by-side comparison of the only Shenzhou 1 launch video available and the Shenzhou 7 launch. China's government published supposed satellite photos of Shenzhou 7 in orbit. Take a look at this photo with Earth's arc behind the orbital module. It's much straighter than Earth's arc is in the spacewalk video from the craft. If we overlap the two, we see the satellite photo's arc is straighter. The arc in the spacewalk photo is apparently closer to Earth than the satellite photo, but it's similar to NASA's most recent spacewalk. If we were to zoom in on the satellite photo to the craft's perspective, Earth's arc would be even straighter. In flight, we see white flying objects floating upwards. The same flying objects show up throughout the 15-minute spacewalk. They all occur at diagonal angles, avoiding the Earth, and at different speeds. China says this is debris escaping from the hatch, but why would debris still be flying out 10 minutes after the hatch was opened? It takes less than a second for all the pressure to escape. And why are they at different speeds? This entire scene was actually filmed underwater in a tank, and these are air pockets escaping. Don't think this is far-fetched. China published footage of the Shenzhou crew practicing in a tank. Video cameras can take away the blue to make it look like open space. Then they just speed up the footage so it looks like there is no resistance from the water. Look at the Earth's clouds. They're moving quickly here, and they suddenly speed up here. Watch again. The entire Earth becomes covered in clouds in only 2 seconds. And a slow bubble gets away from the helmet. It rolls around the helmet, speeds up, and expands as buoyant bubbles do. And then look, the same bubble can be seen in the top left, flying downwards. It even changes directions. So why do the bubbles move different directions? Well, massive wave blowers are used in practice exercises to push water up to keep the astronauts from sinking. Water flows on either side of the craft, causing turbulence at the top, pushing the bubbles in different directions. Return vents around the Earth projection suck the bubbles generally sideways. The astronauts' air is provided in these power cords. That's why they float. The astronaut even has to hold it down so that it doesn't float up. The flag also flaps independently of the hand movement. It floats when inertia should throw it the other direction. Here's that slow bubble again, where the clouds suddenly slow to a practical halt, but just seconds ago they moved rapidly. And here's another quicker bubble with quicker clouds. The speed of the clouds and bubbles correlate, revealing that the footage changed speeds. From orbit, Earth has a blue halo around its arc. NASA scientist Ku Zheng explains this is Earth's atmosphere scattering light less intensely than it is at Earth's surface, and that changes the spectrum to blue. But this halo is gone in the flight video. The washed out violet color of Earth is because the underwater camera reduces the blue. There is no way that space, the color and halo are missing. The camera is still in relation to the Earth for the full 15 minutes. It doesn't move. This means they could have positioned the craft not to spin at all. That's difficult. But the camera does move a tiny bit. It moves up and down intermittently. This means the craft changes the direction of its spin a tiny bit. Now how does that happen in space? To further understand, let's look at a model. Earth's arc is constantly in the camera with the clouds moving down, so that means the craft is staying still to the sun as the Earth spins counterclockwise. But Deputy Commander Qin Wenbo claimed in Chinese government media reports that the craft's orbit was fast enough to circle the Earth in 90 minutes. That's much faster than the 24 hours per orbit that would keep the craft in the sun. Minus the speed of the Earth spinning the other direction, that's 89.6 minutes per orbit clockwise, which means there should be a roughly 120-degree sun angle change in the 15 minutes from the craft's perspective. We would expect the sun to enter the camera's view, but both cameras show no apparent change in the sun angle. You can see the solar panels rotate from flat to angled away from the camera to catch the sun, indicating that the camera side of the craft turns toward the sun. But let's take a closer look. At 2 minutes, the sun is perpendicular to the craft, there's shadows. At 6 minutes, the sun starts shining on the side of the craft as we would expect, but then at 9 minutes, the sunlight is no longer there, there's shadow again. That is impossible, especially at 90 minutes per orbit. News media discovered a fourth voice spoken throughout the video, speaking non-standard Mandarin. But the craft only had 3 astronauts. 2 stayed inside and 1 exited. Who's the fourth voice? Listen carefully.
等一下我来抓住变速手，哎呀，不要自动往回弹呢。你俯下身叫他一下，度量你再往边看，你再试一试。重量随固定动摇脚步。你打上一滑着，等一阵。好了，哎呦，这哪里了？我不知道。
Why is the video and audio footage so clear? Look at the recent USA and Russian spacewalks.
Leo tonight.
Again, yes, and proceed this way.
Now look and listen to China's. Research Director Yu Shuyuan for China said noise levels in the module were about 70 decibels while in orbit. China said astronauts needed special earplugs for the loud noises. But there is no background noise. Videos of previous Shenzhou missions had loud background noises though. As the astronaut exited the hatch, you can hear the mission commander say that he entered into water. So let's review. Number 1, China published conversations of the crew even before liftoff. 2, China has a history of faking space launches. 3, different writing on the rocket and different video shots reveal a model was used. 4, China's satellite photos show a craft closer to Earth than their video from the craft. 5, bubbles are seen that couldn't possibly be debris because they speed up and change directions of flight. 6, the hose and flag float. 7, that clouds move quickly at spots, slowly at other spots, according to how fast the bubbles are moving. 8, the color is weird and the blue halo is missing from the Earth. 9, the camera moves up and down a little, indicating the craft changes the direction of its spin. 10, the sun doesn't shine on the craft's side, then does, then doesn't. 11, 4 voices are heard when only 3 astronauts were there. 12, there's no background noise. 13, the commander said the astronauts entered into water.
3年前，我曾经在天宫1号上给中小学生上过一堂太空实验课。有很多小朋友都很好奇，我们航天员在太空中一天的生活是怎样度过的呢？那今天呢，我们3位航天员就会带大家一起去看一看。
10、9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1。
接机构供货。
海鹏同志
Comrade Haipeng,
陈东同志
Comrade Cheng Dong,
你们辛苦了。
you've worked really hard.
我代表党中央
On behalf of the CPC Central Committee, the State
和
Council,
中央军委
and the Central
代
Military
表
Commission,
全国各族
on
人民
behalf of all
向你
ethnic
们
groups
表
of the
示
Chinese
诚挚的
nation,
问候。
I would like to extend my sincere regards to you.
谢谢总书记，
Thank you,
谢
General
谢全
Secretary.
国人民。
We want to thank the whole nation for your support.
Do you hear me?
Yes, sir. We have you loud and clear.
Who's ready to go to Mars up there?
We are absolutely ready to go to Mars. It's going to be a fantastic journey getting...
Connecting to the future with NASA and Hollywood.
It is an honor for all of us and those online to join you and all of your colleagues at NASA in the first ever live 4K stream from space. What is the ISS position in orbit right now? $11 seconds.
Well, we're just passing over Baja, California, and we're heading in an arc over North America. By the time we finish talking, we'll be over Central Africa.
Wow. Amazing, amazing. Before we learn more about
This rocket's burning bright, will soon be out of sight and orbiting in space. Push back in my seat, look out my window, there goes home. That ball of shiny blue houses everybody anybody ever knew. So sing your song, I'm listening. Out where stars are listening, I can hear your voices bouncing off the moon.
Now we know things made in China have severe quality issues, but you ain't gonna believe some of this stuff. The myth is that the Taigong 1 was launched in 2011 and they lost contact to it a few years ago. ESA are pretending they monitor this space debris re-entry myth. Seems legit. I'm not one for the latest gadgets, but I don't know where they got this from. Nice graphics. Gold foil falling off.
we see about 100 tons of space hardware re-entering in an uncontrolled way, distributed over 50 individual events. So roughly you can say there's one major event in a week.
No impact crater. So this is the Taigong-1 space station, falling all of the communist robots. Here was some docking mission. So you've just got into space, just got into the space station, and you wave. Hi. Hello. Here was the first Chinese spacewalk.
Well, we see the helmet. We can see the helmet of Zhai Zhigang with the background of the Earth. He's waving to us.
Hello. Hi.
He said, I have been out of the hatch. I'm feeling good. To all the people in my country and the world, my greetings. My country, please have faith in me, and my team will finish this mission.
Cables on the outside.
Well, this shot
Standard.
was actually taken from the camera on the propelling.
No stars.
The whole process taking place in the sun, not
Flag waving.
40 minutes. And now we see the live feed again.
Earth not spinning.
The flag of the People's Republic of China, the flag of the People's
very
Republic
watery
of China
flag.
is unfurled by one astronaut with the background of the Earth. We can see the flag. He's waving the flag of the People's Republic of China, for the first time being unfurled by an astronaut.
今天上午，航天员的第一件事儿是照顾蚕宝宝。
Silkworms.
这次呢，香港这个中学生、
Real science.
小科学家，也是小朋友们都知道，可能也看过或者也养过蚕，但是在地面上养，
Oh, that's
可以观
important.
察到蚕它吐带上了6只蚕宝宝，到目前为止
Oh, they've
有
cocooned.
5只蚕宝
Wow.
宝，不仅吐丝，
Wow.
而且做成茧了。
经海豚使出无影脚，
What? What?
太空功夫
不
之王马上就要诞生了。
今天的工作已经按计划全部结束了，我们
Time for
要休
rest.
息了。希望小朋友们喜欢今天的太空科普课。再见。好，再见。
Bye.
下次再见。
在浩瀚星辰的怀抱中，2位航天员进入了梦乡。今天的太空科普课就到这里，祝小朋友们
Yep,
早日实
dream is
现
all it
自
is.
己的太空梦。再见。
Bye. Made in China. Now these people in China, I think I know where they get their education. Yep, I think this is where they get their school books. What do you call a Chinese billionaire? Cha-ching. Okay, so in recent days it's been pushed in the world media that Taigong-1 is out of control and falling to Earth, and they don't know exactly where or when. I really like these quotes underneath this radar image. It's really hard to predict these things because many things influence the density of the atmosphere. And you know how much grab it's going to have on the spacecraft when it comes down. Grab. What is grab? Can someone scientifically get hold of some grab for me? I want to have a look at it. And this second quote. Okay, Taigong-1 fans, now we're cooking. Fans? What are they on about? So let's look at the promotional material, the trailer for the coming Hollywood event. And this is the vacuum next to spinning atmosphere. So how come metal burns up on re-entry, but not metal with humans inside? These are just fireworks launched from a spy plane. They also ramped up some fear about it falling in Michigan and some government emergency. Pretty clever as Chicago is super matrixed up. Now this is the moment it actually fell. The tracking screen refreshed and some text appeared to say it had fallen. That was it. It says to go to server 2, so we'll do that. And the same thing happens. And server 2 also tells us to go to server 2. Then we start finding all these newly uploaded videos of the Taiyang 1 mythically re-entering. But this one is 13 hours ago, before it re-entered. And lots of the space lovers know this too. Fake, fake. Another identical video uploaded, a brand new YouTube account. I'll type something in the comments. Another new YouTube account and upload. We saw this old footage earlier, but of course the masses won't know. Someone's saying it's old footage. I like what this dude says. If you get hit by a space station, you probably deserve it. Another new YouTube account and video, just CGI. It's all impossible. There really is nothing to see here. So now they have mixed videos on new accounts in all languages, a mix of old fireworks and CGI. On the BBC it's the third story. On Sky News it's the third story. And on CNN it's the third story. And then the official story is pushed throughout the day.
Space lab has fallen out of the heavens, Natalie. The Tiangong 1, that means heavenly palace. The Chinese Manned Space Agency says that it re-entered the Earth's atmosphere a little bit less than 2 hours ago at about 8:15 a.m. Beijing time over the South Pacific. Now, this space lab was first launched into space in 2011. It had a couple visits from Chinese astronauts. And then in 2017, China informed the United Nations that it had essentially lost contact with the space lab for a period of about 14 months. We've never really gotten an explanation for why or how that happened. And now it has finally re-entered the Earth's atmosphere. The space lab says that, quote, most parts were burned up in the re-entry process. The space lab was about the size of a bus. It was roughly 12 meters long, 3.3 meters in diameter. It weighed about 8.5 tons. And it's malfunction or the loss of contact with it and its uncontrolled re-entry is a bit of a setback and embarrassment for China's space agency, though it is very ambitious. It's planning to put up a manned space station by 2022. Most of the parts, again, burned up in re-entry. It's believed that the solar panels would have probably been the first to go, though some debris would have probably made it down to the South Pacific. This isn't the first time that a space station has fallen out of the sky. In 1979, the US's Space Lab also had an uncontrolled re-entry. It was much bigger. And also in 1991, the Soviet Union's Salyut 7 or DOS 6 had a similar uncontrolled re-entry.
So I ask you, if they had lost contact to something going 17,000 miles an hour, how did they know where it would land? Something Wong.